Hello, how are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks so much for having me on. I've been following you since October when the game launched, and like you, I was just like really in this game. And when they told us back in May that it'd be going down, I was really sad to see that you would be quitting, because I was in the same boat as you, and I want to see how the progression packs would be. And back now that the game, I'm glad to see you're back too. And really love all the info you put out there. And I know a lot of people who are into Stranger Things puzzle tales really can get a lot from you. And I got a lot of questions. Maybe our regular users would want to know, and I still want to know. And thank you for this time today.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm glad I can hopefully answer your questions and just have a nice time. I mean, the game went out, but I mean, we never quit. It was like a temporarily break, I would say, and then
Mhm.
you know, it was a very nice surprise when developers surprised us on Stranger Things Day. Because nobody expected it. Even I didn't expect. I was really surprised. So
Yeah, it was
I'm
it was
glad it's back.
absolutely glass back too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the first question that really comes to my mind is, realistically, how far can someone go using only awesome characters? And where was that wall? Where do you think that wall would be for them if they only are lucky with awesome characters, no ultras?
Oh wow, that's a good question. It really depends though, because let's say you put your ultras on the table and you can raise the level of the awesome tier character. So you don't necessarily need to be capped at 160, but they can go to 240. But I would say maybe the thing is I never use ultra characters because I already knew from the previous version that basically the awesome tier characters are gonna get useless at one point. So I would say though, I guess it depends on the enemy average level. If you can only get them to 160, then I would say somewhere around when average level of the enemy goes like to 180 or something, you should start to struggle. I would assume. I don't remember which chapter. I think it's like chapter 10 or 11, maybe 12. I don't know, but I think somewhere around there you probably gonna get stuck, unfortunately, and you have to move to the ultra tier units.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, if I ever get an ultra, I just level them up. But I'm really curious for those who are like just starting the game, who are wondering who to level up. Those awesome characters might be like their best bet. And I know for
Mm,
them, they're like just how far they can go.
yeah.
So yeah, I see a lot of people are asking like, how do I get past this? I'm like, I don't know, friend. I just like leveled up my ultras and just breezed through it. I don't even remember the chapters, so I apologize whenever I see people just asking like, how do I get past chapter 11? I'm like, I don't know, level up.
Yeah.
That's the best answer for that I can really give. Other question I have is, who are we sleeping on? Like who is that ultra character who, people really need to like look at and really like l- wonder who's really good, or maybe they need to buff them in some way. Who is that character they need to really work on?
Um, a character that's useful in pretty much every game mode, like Portal, Club Boss, story missions, even HNL. I would say it's Blue 11. Off the top of my head, I think there are a couple that can like take the top spot. I personally think Blue 11 because of her ability to just empower and activate ISIS. I think this is some maybe like the best ability in the game, and just because you can like charge your team and then you can like make your dice stronger, deal more damage. It's just a really really versatile character. No, it's a really useful character and it's a fun character to play it. But yeah, I would go with her because I use her everywhere, so I would definitely go with her. But there's a couple of other ones as well. It's not the only one, so yeah, it's not.
Man, I really need my Blue 11 too. When I saw Blue Steve in this new game, I was like, Blue Steve's my guy, man. I gotta level him up. And now I'm like, oh man, Blue 11 is just so useful. Who is your character? You just like, I don't care how good they are. I need them in my party just because I like that character in the show, or they're really great. Just your favorite character. Who is that? Who's that person?
um I don't necessarily go with like, oh, I like this character in the show, so I'm gonna play with that character. I usually look at their abilities and how they like play together with other characters.
The center.
I think it's a two different things if you look at it this way, because I think there are people who would go like, I like Nancy, so I'm gonna use Nancy, but I like Steve, I'm gonna use Steve. For me, it's like I go with the character I feel has the better synergy with the team or with the other characters I use. But I definitely like Erica on playing with her, not necessarily because of the show, but it's just like She's a really strong character, one of the powerhouses in the game. I just love dealing a lot of damage and being able to hit every enemy at once. I just love that. And yeah, definitely I'm going with Erica.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should like waited because I was like Erica, not my favorite like character in the show. Probably not going to use her in the game, but man, is she really great in this game or what with her abilities, man? So
Yeah.
I wish I would have held off a little bit and didn't base it just on my favorite character because Erica's really great. Probably my sleeper. I really slept on. I'm like, Erica, what? And I saw you and Mike talking about how you use Erica. I'm like, what? So now I'm leveling her up. She's one of my max characters now. But dang, did I sleep on her? There are a lot of characters in the previous game that are no longer with us. They're just not in this game anymore. Who do you think we're gonna get back, and who do you think we're never gonna see again?
Oh wow! I hope we get back Yellow Dustin. He was like the most OP character in that game, in that version. I love Yellow Dustin. Although, if of course, if they bring it back, it's not gonna be broken as before. It's probably gonna do him some different abilities because they have now a different game mechanic with dice empowerment and stuff like that. I'm not sure which character. I don't think we'll ever see again. I would say like if I have to go with the useless character from the previous version, I would go with Red Nancy. She was very useless to me.
Mhm.
And there was like another character, but I don't really remember which one it was. But yeah, there were a bunch of useless character back in that other version that I probably wouldn't want to see. But anyway, even if they bring them, they'll probably make them stronger because this game is different
True.
now, you know.
It is.
So yeah, I'm not quite sure honestly.
Yeah, not just that, but like we talk about orange Dustin or yellow Dustin, however we see that color. If he were to come back, would he come back as orange? Because I feel like we really have a pretty decent orange yellow Dustin right now.
Mm, yeah. Dustin, yeah, he's a he's actually pretty good unit because of his ability to remove buffs, especially when you go into the later harder missions. Basically, every enemy has like a shield or fury or regen, so you really want to have somebody like Dustin to take care of that. And plus, he delays attacks. You know, sometimes the heavy hitting enemy can get his attacks delayed, and this can, if you're lucky enough with the dices, you could actually do a lot of damage or potentially kill him before he can actually kill you. So, yeah, it's Dustin is pretty good character right now. And the green one, I don't use the green one because he's a 2 star. He's like a healer.
Yeah,
Um, when you have Argyle, you don't need a Dustin. Though you don't really necessarily need a healer if you're playing with somebody like Lucas, who's just like a dodge master.
yeah,
It's
Lucas.
crazy.
Yeah, he's like the next person I'm leveling up in my red team. I just need a few more copies of Lucas, and we're good to go. I wonder, like, what color needs help right now? What color? I feel like
Oh,
purple's really good, blue's really good. Or man, I love between Steve. I mean, Steve forever, and then also blue 11 is really good. Purple, I feel like you can argue any of those characters are great on your team,
yeah.
but we don't talk a lot about like red. We don't talk a lot about orange. Like which color needs some support, needs some help?
I would say definitely it's gonna be green, because green is that color that just lacks something. I don't really know what it lacks, but it just lacks something. You have somebody like Argyle who's simply focused on healing, but you don't necessarily need to use him in pretty much most of the missions. Like if you have Argyle, you don't have somebody like Lucas or other Dustin. You obviously you're gonna use Argyle, but you have like a poison guy, Mike, who's a poison unit, and he's I people say that he's good in the chapter 17 missions because of his poison, and especially when people do regen healing, when you have the poison it kind of cancels it out. But and then Joyce is probably the best out of the three green units. Her synergy with red units is also really great. But I feel like green just lacks that power. There is no unit that can actually deal damage, you know, or like
Yeah,
activate dices. So I don't think anybody like activates dices. I think Gargil does like two or three, but it's not. I don't think it's enough. Like if you look at the other colors, purple is just like
yeah,
packed with heavy hitters, vulnerability, Queen Nancy. You have 11 who activates 11 dices. You have yellow vulnerability again. You have damage dealers, delay turns, canceling buffs. Blue, dice activation, empowerment. Red as well, we have Eddie, who's like a beast on power empowerment. Hopper does good amount of damage. Lucas hits everybody. Every color has this really big damage hitters or dice activators, and then you have green, who just like poison and heal. Like it's just weird. Yeah, it's just that it doesn't look like it's working well.
Yeah, definitely green needs more help and not just support. It needs to not just do support. It needs to do some damage here for sure. I'm really surprised. I feel like a lot of the heals, ultra. When I just look at the ultras, I feel like a lot of the heals mostly comes from green, and they really should consider who else can really be a great healer to balance things out. And yeah,
Mm,
bench to our green characters. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
So I have a really awful question. You're like, really, you do this? But let's talk about like when you play the game manual versus automatic. You know, like how far I see like you were talking about the bosses yesterday in your video, which is, I love that video because now I'm really thinking about my team. But like, how good am I gonna get if I do the boss on auto with the top characters versus me manually doing what I need to do? Can we talk about that? Because I feel like I'm guilty of letting the game go automatic, but I also know like there's gonna be a wall that you're gonna hit just by doing that. You really need to start. You need to use your brain, man, and start doing it, man. We talk about
Yeah, I mean, for story missions, I did automatic until late chapter 16, somewhere there. I don't remember which mission, but it was later chapter 16. I did auto the every single chapter before that. And for club boss, I would auto that because every second counts. Sometimes I don't really see which dices I can swipe, and the auto does it for you because it knows, obviously. But the only time I would stop the auto in club boss, I think you've seen in the videos, when purple 11 has to activate dices just to make sure that she activates the color I want.
right,
I would stop it, and then because like most of the time she would activate the wrong color, and that's can actually cost you a lot of points. But yeah, auto is good, but not every time, because sometimes, when you have the auto, it activates abilities from left to right, so
mm,
whichever is your left side character is going to activate in that order. So sometimes if you have them not structured in order, wouldn't want to do that. For instance, if I have Steve or Dustin and I have to I remove a buff from the enemy, then I will do that first and then use Erica and Lucas. But if Lucas or Erica on the far left is gonna first of all hit, if the boss has a lot of shield, I'm wasting abilities, and then I'm gonna remove the ability, the buffs after I activate the other ability. But then you're losing your ability and your attack. So auto is not perfect. You just have to be able to control it. You know.
yeah, I agree. I mean, when it came to like boss 15, I had to manual that. I had to make sure that one of those guys was dead, and then go for it. Like I just couldn't auto. And I saw your video. You just like easily killed them. But man, that was like an hour thing for me. I was like three characters alive. One of them was down. I was like, am I gonna kill this thing? But
Yeah.
I feel like that was if I did it automatic, I was not gonna get anywhere with boss 15, and just had to go manual with it.
Yeah, so if you have to prioritize killing a certain enemy, I would go manual, because it's more of the. But then again, my team was a bit higher level and rarity for that mission, so it was easier for me.
Hmm.
Although I hear that HNO floor 286 has the same bosses and they're a lot harder now because they have more hit points and do damage more. I haven't reached that far yet because I have to record it when I play it, so only when I have time to record then I play it. Because you
That was
cannot.
asked you is how far are you with the floors HNL? How far are you?
Oh, I'm on floor 251.
Oh,
So I'm gonna record the last 30 floors in one video when I have the time. It's just that these floors now take a lot of time. I think the last 50 floors took me like almost an hour to do, or 40-50 minutes. So you just have to be there for like a whole full hour and just record, and just you have to like actually play some of it because the auto now starts to like do mistakes which can cost you. So you have to be more strategic here. So it just takes time. When I have the time, I'll do it.
yeah, I can't.
Um,
When you get to the boss fight with floor 15, oh, sorry, boss 15 in the HNL floor, when they're there, I really hope she can beat them to give me some hope because I'm stuck. I know a lot of people are stuck there. They have a lot of HP. They hit so hard, one shot. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting my table maxed out. I have another 12 levels to go for my characters, so hopefully I can. I can do it. I'm not sure. Maybe like a big wall there, you know. But we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, I still have a lot of 6-star gear I need to get to my people and I upgrade it. So that's a lot of damage and hit points as well. Yeah.
I want to kind of switch gears. There's a lot of resources that you provided in the Discord, and I'm so thankful. I know you're looking. I know you're planning on putting some more information out there. One of those resources is on investigations, and I'm
Yeah.
really like there are different tiers of investigations. Like
Mm.
there's one where you can send your units out for 7 days for a lot of great resources. But I also wonder, is that the best value? I wondered, like looking at all the investigations, I wish I had my chart in front of me. Which ones do you prioritize? Like, are the 7 days worth it? Are some of them not? What are the resources that you primarily go after? Why should we go after these resources? Love to hear your thoughts on this one. I know come out in a future video too.
I would, yeah, the investigations are very good right now compared to the last version of the game.
Mm,
The amount of resources you get is crazy. Now, the resources, I basically do every single investigation. I don't skip on them because
yeah.
essentially I'll be using everything they offer. The only thing I don't really need right now is goo because when you upgrade your characters above level 221, your goo becomes useless and you're just stacking that goo. There's nothing to do with it afterwards unless they do more levels in future so you get to upgrade more, but we'll see. But the thing I prioritize would be coins. Coins is something I'm just actually about to get 2.5 million in like 2 hours from my investigation because I'm gonna do this in a video when I talk about the gear. But coins is something you can use to buy 5.5-star gear from store, which is like 1 million per piece, and that 1 million coins gives you 10,000 points for upgrading 6-star gear. So that's something you can do. It's a lot better exchange than actually spending 1,500 diamonds on 8,000 upgrade tokens in the shop. So I would go for coins, and then I would go for. So if you do the 7-star investigations and above, you get 3-star fragments. So I tend to actually get a bunch of ultra characters from investigations. So that's another thing I prioritize. Although the drop rate of getting 3-star mission on investigations is pretty low because it doesn't happen. It maybe like once or twice a week, but it's still pretty good when you get it. And when you buy constantly every day the fragments from the shop, it kind of stacks up. And you can usually get like one ultra a week from that. You know that's all right.
mm,
And then there is the diamonds. The diamonds are amazing because obviously I use them to buy 6-star gear. Occasionally I will do like a times 10 summons if I have too many diamonds. But yeah, all the rewards are pretty good, honestly. It's just that the goo is I have nothing to do with it, and I know everybody else who's at my level is knows the same thing. You know, it's just you can't do much with it.
Yeah. So high priority, it sounds like is the gold, the coins is the high priority, and
Yeah.
then like the stars, the 3 stars, 2 stars, and then diamonds. But
Mm,
if you had to skip the goo, friends, like if you don't have enough units to go out, you can skip that goo. You don't need it,
yeah.
and for sure. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're lucky, so maybe you do not need that goo. I mean, investigations might be the best place to get goo, or where would that be if someone does need it?
Yeah, yeah, the investigations is definitely the best one. But the problem is that the goo I get, the amount of goo I get is something you get when you reach the further chapters 14, 15, 16, 17. And honestly, to reach those chapters, your team needs to be at least level 200, I would say. So you're going to be at a point where you wouldn't really necessarily need a lot of goo. Maybe to get those final upgrades, the 221 upgrades that cost you like I think it's like 40k per unit, so that's about 200k, or just a little bit more. And that's pretty much it, really. You don't need it after.
Mm.
Mm.
And you're using diamonds for your gear now? I haven't used my diamonds for any gear. I'm still pulling people because I still want to promote. But you're using your diamonds for your gear. Is there certain gear we should be looking out for? Or if we see it in the store, we're like, man, we really need that in the end game, or that would really benefit us.
Yes. So I think if you're when it comes to gear, you only need to get the 6-star gear. you wouldn't necessarily need to invest in any other gear because only 6 star matters. And if you're progressing faster through chapters, your store is going to refresh. I believe at chapter 14, you start getting 6 star gear for diamonds in the shop and also the club store, but that's a different topic because that's just hard to get. But I would spend because like every character has different sets of gear. So there's like the head, the chest, the arms, and the legs, and there is a different. So there's like attack focused gears, there is hit points focused gears, and there is a balance gear, which is a balance between hit points and attack. And
Hmm.
usually the head and the chest would give you more hit points. But if it's like a unit like Erica or Nancy that deal a lot of heavy damage, I would go for attack focused gear. If it's somebody like heals, you want to keep them alive for longer, I would go with more health. And then if for dice people, I would maybe go with balanced. So a bit of health, bit of attack, more health because you really want to keep them more into the battle. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be making a video on this as well soon. It's on my
Yeah,
list.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I see that video. I know a lot of people are really curious about with
yeah.
gear.
Gear is something people wondering now.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Yeah, we're stuck. It's like if we have a little extra much more damage or health, that might be the tipping to help us out.
yeah.
So another question I had too that I was wondering is like this is a really hard question to ask you because like, wording it, I couldn't quite word it. So let's talk about the gaming board, right? If I have 5 characters, they are all ultras, they are fully promoted, and they're at 240. Am I good to like put any character on that board, and are they fully maxed or are they not fully getting their full benefits because they're not fully promoted themselves? I always wondered how that gaming board really worked on that level, and I just want to understand, like, do I still need to promote people who are on the board, or if I have fully maxed out top 5, am I good?
Um. So you say you have 5 ultra maxed out characters, and they're your top 5, and
Yeah,
then
top 5 fully promoted.
okay. Mm.
40, they're all maxed out level wise, fully promoted. If I put anyone on the board, does it apply to them or is it a little bit different? Do I still need to promote those characters on the board for them to get their full skills? Are they missing something?
So they would be the same level. They'll be anybody you put on the board would be level 240, and they would have all their skills unlocked.
Mm,
Um, Now, if they're an awesome tier character, that's good for them because they get to do more health and damage because they get another uh, 80 levels of
oh,
upgraded. But they won't have the same attack and health because of the lack of promotion. So when you cannot
mm,
upgrade them to 5, 5.5, and 6 star, that's a lot of health and damage you cannot give to the awesome tier characters, even if they have all their skills. But they still have less skills because they only have 2 reactives. The others have 3. And yeah, I don't really get what the question was though, because
it's
like
like, it's really hard to explain and ask it, but I've been wanting to really like understand how the gaming board works. If if I have my 5 ultra characters fully promoted, fully leveled, do I have to continue promoting the other characters? Do I have to continue leveling the other characters? Or is putting them on the game board enough? They're really fully maxed out as well. That's kind of what I wondered. Because
they are.
okay.
But if you have another ultra you put on the table and that ultra is like 4 star,
Yeah.
you want to get him to 6 star because you're gonna get extra damage and health. You only get that
That's
extra
what I want.
damage and health by promoting them.
All right. So
So
it's gonna be so important to promote them.
you have to promote them, yeah, because they don't get the rarity. They only get the level. That's
Oh,
the only thing. They don't get the rarity. There's two different things: levels and rarity.
that's
So
really
the gaming table only maxes out their levels based on your top 5. And if it's somebody you're using, then you definitely want to get them up because you can do more damage on club balls. Your dice is going to deal more damage, and your abilities are going to be stronger if they do like damage on enemies.
so
So
what I'm
yeah,
hearing.
definitely promote.
What I'm hearing you say is if you put them on the gaming board, another character, they'll have all their abilities, but they'll still be missing their health and that damage that they would otherwise have if they're promoted.
Yes, because the abilities are tied to the level of the character. So every 20 levels, you get either ability upgrade or you unlock ability. So when you have the levels maxed, then automatically you have every ability unlocked and maxed. But then the promotion is a different thing. So you have to promote them if you wanna They have to be promoted because you wanted them to be stronger. There's a big difference between a 4.5 star character and a 6 star character in power and health.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that is that's good to know. I have to start really fully promoting Blue 11, especially how much you and Mike really talk about using Blue 11. I
Mhm.
gotta I gotta work on her. Um, question I'm sure that other people would have just based on the game is when is the right time to sacrifice an ultra for another ultra?
I'm doing this right now actually. When you have your ultra maxed rarity, any other ultra of the same character you get just gonna be duped, so you can just use them to sacrifice as a fodder for other ones. So I just use a max yellow max to get my. I just got my what's her name, Robin, to 5 star today, and I'm getting a Nancy to 5 star on Tuesday because I'm gonna buy the Erica copy from the Portal store. And because Erica is already a 6 star, I only need one copy, and then I can use the fodder to get Nancy to 5 star because she's amazing. So yeah, any character you max, then he's basically a dupe. If you get him from calls, from tickets, from everywhere, you're just gonna get. That's a good fodder. That's why I love getting ultras. Any ultra is fine. Doesn't matter if it's max because I know they're gonna be fodder for another ultra. And that's my goal right now. I just want to max out every ultra and just level up my table to max level. Yeah.
That's advice. I know people are still like, is it worth this sacrifice? I guess it really. I definitely know if you have a duplicate, go for it. But if you still need it, you just don't know when you're gonna pull them again. So don't be very cautious.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the point where there is not like a wall between free to play and pay to win. Everybody's equal now. We all get the same amount of diamonds every day. Now, obviously, if you're in the higher club boss, you can do. If you're in a better club, active club, you can do more higher club bosses and essentially get more diamonds. I mean, I get like 200 and on average, I get 2,500 diamonds a day just from that, and then another 1,500 from Porto, and then you have the daily missions and some investigations. I get about 5,000 diamonds a day. So that's like a normal thing if you're playing and if you're the higher ends of the game. um but yeah, was there any question you were asking? I don't know why I'm just
Oh,
like talking some random stuff.
Uh, I actually did want to thank you again because I know you're so knowledgeable with this game. I wondered is there anything you're still like I don't know how this works. If a developer can just answer a question for you, so you fully understand how the game worked, what would be that question and why?
Something I don't understand how it works. uh I don't really know actually. Yes, I mean, I think that's an issue with everybody. We don't know the attacks of enemies. Like there is no enemy catalog, like the way we have the characters and their abilities. A lot of the times, if I'm losing a mission, I would reset it a couple of times just to make sure I see how the enemy attacks. But I something that's something I don't think anybody understands. That's something that developers don't really give us
Mm,
as an information. And I would love to see that. I would love to be able to see that. Hopefully in a future update maybe they will listen to us and they will show us that information because the information is there. It's already coded. It's like the enemies do these attacks. It's just
yeah.
about showing the information to the players. I would love to see something like you go into this chapter and you see, oh, this chapter you can fight these and this enemy. This is the boss and this is how he hits. This is how the charge attack works. This is how the normal attack works. And this is the turns cooldown it has after attacking, or like when it starts the mission, or something like that. I don't know. It's just I would love to see that, but I don't think I think I know a lot of the things. Something maybe I don't really know. I have to look at that resource that one of my old alliance mates, Mito, made is the 6 star gear, the stats. Because I would go with the stats because I don't really remember the icons of the 6 star
Mm,
gear because of which one is the chest or which one is the attack one, which
oh,
is the balance one, which one is the health one. So I
mm,
have to go every morning when the store refreshes. I would go into the Discord and just check the picture and see.
it's the same
Okay,
thing.
oh, this is an attack one. Oh, I need that on Nancy. I'm gonna buy that. That's how I go. I just don't buy every single 6 star gear in shop. I just use my diamonds correctly. Let's say, yeah. You don't really want to give health to Erica when she needs damage. She's a
Yeah.
damage dealer. So yeah.
No, that's really good advice. I think that's a really great suggestion too, is having a catalog of the bosses we defeated or the enemies we fought, and a little bit of understanding of how their mechanics work ability wise. That'd be really
Mhm.
helpful. Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thank you again so much for your time. I really appreciate your knowledge on this game. I feel like I've got as far as I could because of your enthusiasm and your knowledge as well. So just thank you for all the work that you do. Really appreciate you.
Yep, no worries, no worries. Do you have any other questions, or are you done with the questions?
I, those are all the questions I really had.
Oh, okay.
See a lot of people have as well whenever I'm looking at the Discord or Reddit. I know there's still a lot of people who are stuck in chapters. What advice do you have? And I'll give my advice too of how people can really get past chapter 11 or get further in H&L.
Yeah, I think chapter 11, mission 21 seems to be a very like a stuck point for a lot of people with that that monster. I think actually sometimes I struggle with that monster. I fight that monster on the portal, the last stage of the portal sometimes. And uh the strength of that enemy is that the regen and the fury, honestly. If the enemy has a lot of regen, you constantly, any damage you do, that enemy is just gonna get the health back. So you have to nullify the ability. So either you use Steve or Dustin. Those are really amazing characters for that. um but yeah, honestly, just level up your team, guys. I mean, the game is made for you to get stuck. That's the whole point of the game. You cannot beat every single mission and chapter in one day. Like, that's impossible. The game is made for you to stuck, to be able to upgrade your characters, to try out different combinations, because on different missions, certain characters are going to be better. So it's just about finding the right synergy with characters, really, and just like get get on the social medias of the game, Facebook, your Discord. I have a Facebook page which we have almost like 1,000 people. I don't think there's many Facebook groups on the game. Obviously we have the official Discord server of the developers. I think that one has like 20,000 people or something, quite a lot. And then there's Reddit as well. I think there's a Reddit page. Just get on there, people, because a lot of the times, like, people would post, I cannot do this mission on Facebook, but then there's another guy that posts the same thing on Reddit. And there's like different people helping out on different social media. You just have to make sure you're everywhere, so that the can get the most help as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely check out those resources. Ask your questions, and people will reach out and let you know. Like, experiment too with your teams. I think you mentioned earlier too, like use the portal to experiment with different characters, and
Mm,
like, just try that out. There's no really harm in Portal trying out different characters and giving you a feel of how they guys will work together. Be active, attack that club boss every day. When you defeat that club boss, it's great resources for everyone who is part of your team. So definitely do those two. The clubs is what they're called in this game. Absolutely. Thanks again, Payne Walker. Appreciate everything you do. You're the best, man.
no worries, man. No worries. Okay. Well, yeah. If you have no other questions, I guess we can wrap this up.
I mean, I can
Uh,
take all day with all kinds of questions. But I
nah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just
want
because it. Huh?
to
Sorry.
again, if you ever want to do this again, we'll get more people to ask questions too.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I mean, if there's like an event, like like a Christmas event or like an update that's coming,
Mhm.
because usually a lot
Oh,
of the developers of games, they would release like an update before Christmas, before the holidays. So
mhm.
maybe we might get an update like this week or next week. You never know. Like, I don't know, with these developers, they just might surprise you the way they surprise
Yeah,
us.
it'd be really cool to see too, like what other people would think would be great things to add to this game, and then talk about them as
Yeah,
well.
I think just would be I think it would be great to discuss like new features and new additions and new changes to the game when, like, after updates. I think that would be like a fun thing to do.
Yeah,
Just have like a discussion and see what people think about these changes.
absolutely.
Of course, I'm always gonna cover the new updates with videos, but I think it would just be fun to do it live and just like talk to people. Yeah,
Awesome. Hey, thanks again for your time. You're the best.
no worries, man, no worries. All right, then I guess I'll see you on the Discord,
Yeah, sure.
or you're gonna see me on my video. So yeah.
I'll see you in the
Okay.
Discord. I'll see you in videos. You take care.
Yeah, no worries, man. All right, take care. Have fun. Have a good Sunday.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Right, guys. Thank you all for joining, and I guess I'm gonna see you in another video soon. So yeah, take care. Have a good day, and see ya.